Then we had the Raw returns of Brock Lesnar, the champion, in case you all forgot, and Braun Strowman in the kind of segment that can kill a push dead. Like Matt Hardy in his first promo back in the company in 2005. Vince McMahon literally hands him the ball. He literally was in the ring, Vince was, to hand him the microphone. And Hardy did not put in his best performance, and that was pretty much the death of him. For Braun's big return here on Raw, this could not have gone any worse. Now, apparently, he is still not cleared to be physical from his injury. He's not cleared yet. The expectation is that he will be by the time the Royal Rumble rolls around. Yeah, I would certainly hope so. You're promoting a championship match with him. I sure hope he's cleared by then. So I get that he couldn't do anything physical. They were limited in what they could do here. Let me just say that up front. I understand that. I get that. But that has nothing to do with what happened here. We had a split screen. Strowman in the ring, calling out Brock Lesnar, doing his usual, get these hands, get these hands. Brock and Heyman are backstage doing their usual shtick, where Brock just refuses to come out. Riveting television, by the way. This always is. When the champion acts like he would rather be anywhere else but at work, and refuses to come out. I'm surprised he wasn't standing there reading a copy of The Backwoodsman. So Braun is going on with his rehearsed lines, calls him Beastie Boy, and he just stood there. A couple of different points. He just stood there and looked lost. We had this period of awkward silence, like Brock and Paul were just waiting for him to say something, anything. I don't know if it was a case, everyone's like, oh, Braun forgot his lines. Maybe he did. I don't know if it was a case of him forgetting his lines, or if he was waiting on some kind of a cue off screen from the cameraman, like telling him, okay, go. You know, it's like these guys can't make a move without getting some kind of a sign from a referee or from a cameraman. Anybody who has gone to a live WWE show, NXT included, anybody who's gone to a live event, you know what I'm talking about. These guys take cues on everything. The referee is constantly going over to tell them, hey, go here, move here, do this, hold the belt up, don't do this, don't do that. And I get it, it's a live television show. The company wants these perfect camera shots and all that, and I understand a little bit of that, but it's like these guys can't make a fucking move without being told where to stand, what to do this, don't say that. It's ridiculous. It's like if you just removed all these people from the equation, you know, somebody like Braun who doesn't have 20 years in the wrestling business, doesn't have a whole lot of experience, would they even know what to do? I just feel like they have been brought up in a system where they simply cannot ad-lib. They simply don't know what to do. If things go wrong, it's like these TV news people in some cases, right? Where they just read everything off a teleprompter. Well, if the power went out, or the teleprompter, maybe not the power, you wouldn't be on the air, but if the teleprompter suddenly malfunctioned, some people have the ability to sit there and they kind of know what to do. They can ad-lib, they can kill time until it comes back on, and some people just sit there with just a blank stare like a deer in headlights and don't know what to do because they rely on that teleprompter, and without it, they're lost. They don't know what to say, they don't know what to do. And I feel like a lot of the guys in that company are probably being brought up in a system that, if something like that were to happen, do they know how to react? You know, is that what happened here, or was it just a case where he just forgot his lines? He may well have forgotten his lines. It looked like he was sort of like mouthing the words. If you go back and watch it, before he spoke the words, it was almost like maybe he was in his memory bank trying to figure out, okay, is this the line? And he was mouthing something, and then he would say, it was very weird and very embarrassing. And look, it's not the first time that somebody's forgot their lines. You know, let us not forget that time that Randy Orton famously stopped mid-promo to ask Sheamus, hey, what's my line? Because Randy Orton doesn't give a fuck. He'll literally stop the show and walk over to this guy he's cutting a promo on and be like, hey, dude, what's my line? Oh, okay, thanks. And then just go. It's like when Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell used to go, like, what did he say? Like, stop or whatever, freeze. And the show would freeze and he could speak and then he would unfreeze the show. That's not how this works. I feel like Randy Orton, he just doesn't give a shit. So it's not the first time somebody would have forgotten their lines. You know, it's not a fireable offense. But boy, did he come off bad here in this segment. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you have to memorize every little fucking thing. It's not even like he had a lot of dialogue. He wasn't out there to recite some kind of long monologue like Kane. Remember that? Remember the Kane monologues on SmackDown? You thought the vagina monologues were bad. Holy shit. Those Kane monologues with the creepy music in the background. They should have played music in the background here too. The Benny Hill music. I think it would have been very appropriate. Somebody like Braun, this guy is a monster. He should be out there like a menace. He should be out there like a menace. Instead, he's like a pull-string doll with the same recycled lines from the last feud. Beastie Boy, get these hands. Beastie Boy, get these hands. These guys made music. You know, their music would have 3 lines. It would be the same lyrics over and over again, like a WWE theme song. But it's like they dehumanize these people. You know, when I joke about Dashabot and stuff like that, it doesn't just apply to the announcers. It extends to the talent as well. It's like an army of bots that they've programmed. So eventually Brock Lesnar actually did go against Heyman's advice, and he decided to come on out. I was like, all right, finally, some action. Something's going to happen here. And he came out and he teased getting into the ring. He circled the ring like a shark. He just walked in a circle, and then he left. Just like that. Brock Lesnar's night was over. Like, remember WrestleMania 31 when Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank and won the title? As he's fleeing, Michael Cole calls it the heist of the century. I actually thought that was a great line. Oh, the heist of the century. Well, he had it wrong. Brock Lesnar deserves credit for the heist of the century. The greatest heist in company history. For all the money, all the many millions of dollars that he has robbed Vince McMahon of these past few years. He has robbed that man blind. It's unbelievable. This segment did a horrendous job of getting me excited to see these two wrestle at the Royal Rumble. And by the way, people are going to say, well, Solomonster, you've said before that you're in favor of Brock Lesnar signing new contracts with WWE. How can you say he's robbing the company? I like the idea of having Brock Lesnar around because even though he doesn't do anything, if they actually had him doing something, he still comes out and has an aura about him that very few people in that company have. But they don't have him do anything. What does he do? How often do we see him? And when he does show up, what does he do? He does nothing. So it's great for him that he can make all this money, but I'm saying if this is what they're paying him for, he's robbing these people blind. Speaking of horrendous, that brings us to Nia Jax.